Hey everybody, welcome to week number 5. In this week's focus, we are going to be diving into something called fixed versus growth mindset. Now, you may have heard of these terms before. They're a pretty big topic of discussion, specifically within psychology as well as in parenting. But what is fixed versus growth mindset? People with a fixed mindset, they tend to feel like the things that they are good or bad at are set in stone. They feel like these things that they excel at are innate gifts, and just as much as they feel like the things that they struggle with are out of their control. With a fixed mindset, if you tend to struggle in school or in losing weight, as soon as you start running into a roadblock or an obstacle, these individuals feel like they have, come to the end of the road. They don't see a way to succeed outside of the things that they see as their innate gifts or skills. So you remember the story that we discussed earlier in the program with David Goggins, when he first was trying to make a change in his life, the skills and talents that he had, they were very limited and holding him back. Yet he did not have this fixed mindset. If he did, he never would have changed or become better. Every time he came up short or, fell and come up to a roadblock, he would have just quit thinking, I guess this is just my life. I'm not able to lose weight due to genetics or my skills, or I guess I'm just stuck here. But luckily for him, instead of having that fixed mindset, David, has what we know as a growth mindset. And he was able to, realize that he could make changes and grow and continue to get better. I myself, for years, have struggled with a little bit of the growth mindset in certain aspects. One thing that I've always found myself saying either out loud to other people or using an excuse to myself is something that you may have used or heard people say. And when it comes to dieting or eating healthy in the past, one thing I would always say is, I have really, really good control if I just completely stay away from it, if I don't even have it in the house, right? I'm the kind of person who, if I see a box of Oreos, I can say no, but if I eat one Oreo, I'm going to eat all of them, right? Kind of there's that gorging mentality. And I used to always say that to myself. And the funny thing is that's not necessarily true. I was just putting myself in that box by saying that. And as soon as I started to learn about the growth mindset and I stopped telling myself that I was destined to be that specific way, or I was destined to have this gorging mentality, as soon as I stopped telling myself that, I was able to completely stop gorging on food. And now, whether I have, a refeed meal or a cheat meal or something like that, I can stop whenever I want because I've told myself I can. I've got out of that fixed mindset. So to explain a little bit deeper, a growth mindset is when someone who, is someone who takes responsibility for things not working out and understands that even if they have temporarily, that's important, temporarily fallen short of their goals or accomplishing what they wanted, they don't blame life. They understand that change is something that they can control. When they reach these roadblocks that life throws at us, they're able to find ways around or over these blocks. They don't settle for things they feel are holding them back. Now, this next part, this is super, super important with growth mindset. There is no failure. When we hit that wall, we did not fail. We learned our next place that we can grow. So with a growth mindset, we look at situations that we used to consider a failure, and we now look at them like an exciting opportunity to grow and learn, almost like we found a new place that we can put some effort into to become better. So, now we can, pretty easily see the importance of a growth mindset and how if we have a fixed mindset, it's going to make things harder to change or get past these challenges, right? But how do we make this change? How do we work on becoming more aligned with this growth mindset? And honestly, it's not that hard of a process. It's pretty simple, at least in theory. In actual practice, obviously things might be a little bit more challenging for some, but the main thing that we need to change is our inner dialogue. The way that we personally view our successes slash failures. Again, there's no failures, just using that term to explain. We need to actively and purposefully change what we are saying to ourselves and about ourselves to other people. And we need to actively speak about the positives and the growth from each situation. And the more we do so, the more that growth mindset will take over and become a reality. So one question I want you to consider and just kind of think about: what is your narrative when you engage in things that you either see yourself as good at or things that you see yourself as not good at? Right? Like, what are you saying to yourself when you do something that you see as like a huge success? Like, oh, I just accomplished something really big. What are you telling yourself? Are you talking about how proud you are? Are you saying, man, I'm just so smart? Or are you saying, man, I worked really hard for that? We need to shift our narrative towards things more focused on the effort that we put in, instead of just things that we have innately given to us. Like one example of kind of a little bit of a shifting is instead of saying, man, I have a great memory, instead just say, I spend a lot of time with this information, studying, focusing, and using, thought out ways of remembering material, and it pays off. That's just a simple change. I mean, they both sound like the same thing, but on one, you're putting all of your talents or what you've accomplished as just something you're born with. Whereas the other, you're recognizing and acknowledging the work that you've put in to be able to do that. So for this week, we are going to, we're going to add in an additional journal question, right? Throughout the program so far, we've been answering the one question. What is one thing that you love about yourself? We're still going to be answering that question every day with a new thing, putting something in, but we're going to be adding a second question. What is one thing that you're proud of yourself for? Whether it's something you did that day or just in general in life, what is something you're proud of yourself for doing? And in addition to adding in that extra journaling prompt, we are also going to be adding in daily affirmations. Now, daily affirmations, this is something that for some of you may feel a little bit odd. And I know I felt a little bit odd when I was first starting this, but trust me, this has made a huge difference for me. In fact, adding in the affirmations in the daily journaling, these are the single main factors that I've found in my life that have helped with my depression and mental health. Now, for the daily affirmations, I want you to just start by writing them in your journal. We can get to the point where you're not having to write these down. Maybe you're just saying them to yourself as you drive to work or as you're doing daily chores, things like that. But for now, just to get started, I want you to actually be writing these in your journal right under those two questions. Now, what you're writing for your affirmations, they can be specific to you. Just to give you some examples of things that I have used and I've really liked, and you can do these exact same ones or you can change it up. Some of the things, these are 4 different things that I say. 1, I can get better when I'm trying. 2, challenges help me learn and improve. 3, I can do great things if I work hard. And 4, I'm always getting better. Now, you can do one of them, you can do all 4, or you can write up your own. But the important thing is if you end up doing your own affirmations, make sure that just like with the growth mindset, you are focusing on the effort that you put in, the challenges and how you're learning from them, and just kind of moving forward. So don't forget to schedule our call. That should be in the email that this video came in, as well as fill up that check-in form so we can kind of go from there, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on the phone. Look forward to talking to you. Hope you have a great rest of your day.